saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, for the sake of the recorder, you opened the meeting at 5:45 and we went over the minutes.
Yep, so the recording has just started. Just to recap, there was an initial motion that was made just after convening the meeting. Selectman Constantino motions to approve the minutes of January 22nd and January 29th. Eric Pyra seconded that, and it was a unanimous vote to approve the public minutes.
Jason.
So I will now make a motion so that we can keep it separate. To approve the minutes of January 20, the non-public session minutes of January 29th, 2018.
Is there a second?
We don't have to reiterate the sealed part of it, do we? They automatically go into sealed.
Yep.
I've already sealed them.
Yep.
Yep. Do we have a second?
Is there a second to that?
Second.
All right, Chuck. And all those in favor of approving the non-public minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. That's for non.
Nope. Somebody has to make a motion for the last March 15th one.
Okay, yep.
Which I was not there, so I'm not gonna.
That is for our emergency meeting that was downstairs, just to go over the
Report.
town meeting and the report. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of March 15th.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Tom. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
I'll
opposed?
abstain.
Be on and.
Joyce, so you, I can give you, I'm just hand scratch time. Are you taking a minute?
I wrote down the
Yeah, she
times.
got them.
Okay.
She got it.
Good luck.
I was keeping notes while we were going along.
Okay.
Okay, we do not have an official agenda typed out for tonight, but the purpose of tonight's...
There we go.
Oh, you do? Okay, I don't have one. Put that one right there, there you go.
That's when I mailed out.
Thank you.
So,
Do we want to enter into non-public now, or do you want to save that to the end?
I would prefer you do now because I'm gonna have to
yes,
leave
Okay.
early.
make a motion, we go into non-public per RSA 91A:3 to discuss the land acquisition.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll
All
call.
those, yeah, roll call vote, sorry. Eric?
Yes.
Constantine, yes, yeah.
Yes.
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 And yes. Unanimous?
Get this next one.
We now have the motion to...
Make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session until the matter is resolved. Second.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Eric?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Chuck? Yes. Right, and yes. So that's unanimous, seal the minutes of the non-public session. All right, so we are back in public session, and I think the first order of business on the public session is we have a meeting scheduled for the 23rd, correct?
Yes.
Is there any need for us to meet on the 23rd at this point?
I thought we were gonna have a public hearing on it.
Well, it's not a public hearing, it was encouraging the public to attend
A forum.
as a forum.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough information.
I don't think, and I think we could post something on Facebook where we had posted where it was gonna be a meeting. And there's nothing to discuss at this point. There's matters that have been discussed in non-public session that we're waiting for greater detail of an update, and it would not be...
Just state that or we don't have any information to meet.
And we can just schedule it, out a couple of weeks and just see if we can't, actually, I wouldn't schedule it though.
My thought is let's wait and hear what Joyce and Tim say, and then we can schedule it.
Yeah.
Because we could be 2 weeks, we could be 3 weeks, we could be a month and a half.
Well, right, just, we will post,
I would say we don't cancel the 23rd yet, because what happens if they do have a big update for us?
Well, we don't have an appraisal.
We're not gonna be able to share that, what we're looking for a big update
Okay.
in,
Well, I was just thinking just for us as the board,
as us as a board.
as a committee.
I'm thinking you were saying for the public.
No, I'm just saying,
but I mean, if, I enjoy meeting, I enjoy, even though tonight didn't seem to be there, we found out some information, I think it was good, because we haven't met in a month, but what do we have to discuss, I don't.
well, I was gonna say, we may have something, we can make that decision on in a week and see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem holding off to see if there's things, but.
So keep it scheduled, and then if
Yeah,
for some
keep it
reason-
scheduled, and if
We
we
can
have
cancel last
answers to the questions that are out there, or better answers to the questions that are out there, then we can meet and update the board. But as far as the public is concerned, I would put that off probably till May, and then we can have a little bit more solid ground.
Okay,
into
so
that.
We'll keep the 23rd for now. Are we all set there? I have a question for the entire committee. Where we have our Facebook page now, do we want to break down some of these jobs? And I'm gonna throw Chuck under the bus for a second, I probably should talk to you first, and you don't have to accept it. But with Facebook, do we wanna have one person from the committee handle like the answering questions on Facebook? Because I think once things start to heat up, if there's a few of us answering, whether it's Eric or you or whoever, that
I have
streamline the answers and the information that gets posted.
Well, Aaron and I discussed this prior too, because, some of the questions that are asked, there can't be any answers to, you can't answer the questions like, why don't we do this, or how, you should think of this, or, a couple of the different, sometimes they'll answer themselves, but I definitely think it's like with any social media, you kind of don't want to add fuel to the fire. You don't want to make, like, I commented on one comment that somebody from outside of the town, said, oh, watch out, because, if it doesn't go right, they're going to point fingers. But we're all here to do the best interest, whether that happens or not, it's inevitable, one of the answers. And I just explained, thanks for your interest. We're looking to get these people that have questions and interest to come to our meeting. That's why we're posting these. And I think, I have no problem. I think Eric could answer those questions if he chose to. And it's like anything on there. There's sometimes the best answer is no answer, but you also don't want to know that you're not updating.
Crickets in the background.
So I think sometimes answering it politically correct is, not choosing sides, just state, thanks for your input, but we're having a meeting here. If you'd like more information, come to the meeting. It's not really answering it. It's kind of like letting them know the reason that we're doing this is to let people know when decisions are made and where we're moving forward. But if there's some of the stuff shouldn't be answered on social media, it should be a way of encouraging them.
But you have there's a question, can you share the sites in which you are interested in? It's one of the questions that are on
We
our,
haven't answered it yet.
and nobody's answered.
Nobody's.
That's
However-
exactly why I brought that up tonight, because that will start to fuel. If we
So-
don't-
It already did, because
No, it didn't fuel yet. The
Well,
one
there
that
was-
fueled it is, how about considering a safety complex for police and fire?
right.
And
Down that road.
and
But
that's already,
what happens is other people answer it and say that's not going to happen. And there was another one in there that stated about another location in Tilton, and somebody said that isn't viable because of the space restraints. So it's, again, if we're going to answer it, we've been involved with a lot of different locations. I don't think we can get specifics, because we can't talk about that. But, you know, even if we respond by, we're in the process of looking at a number of locations, some have been ruled out because of space and this, not necessarily that one location or this location, you've got to answer them in general terms.
I think it would be in our best interest to try to answer those as best as possible. Whether we can't answer that question at this time, as far as which properties, we cannot answer that question at this time. We hope to have public information on sites in the upcoming months.
I think it should be one person
I
that
agree.
I
answers,
would agree.
that answers the questions, because,
I also think if, whatever that one person is, I think if we converse with a couple people in the, committee that's willing to kind of, even if one person like posts the answer, it's nice to get another person's view, hey, what do you think, communicate, what do you think about this question? So one person just doesn't answer it thinking that they're in the best interest of the committee, but I think, I don't have a problem if Eric wants to do it and has time.
Are you
but-
interested in being a,
That's fine. I don't want to, if, depending on what, like, a question like what you guys are saying, I think I think a standard answer, we can't tip our cap to anything.
Right.
We can't show any of our cards. It's non-public. The other thing is that you have to watch having discussion on Facebook, because it becomes a matter of public record. And
That's why it has to be a generic answer.
it has to be a
like,
generic.
We're
encourage
looking at a
people-
lot of different sites.
Encourage people to come to the meetings.
Right,
and
but you can
find out
answer,
more.
we're looking at a lot of different sites. That's not saying we are looking at that site or not, but again, it has to be, the whole idea of the site to me is to make ourselves transparent and push them to come to meetings. When we start having something that we can discuss in public.
Well, even taking the videos, because you can share those videos that are posted on the town website, because he's posted those to YouTube. So you can actually take the link, we can post it in there, and get people to watch that video, and,
Right.
and they're not gonna get a lot out of that, but it's still keeping that.
Even if you
these
explain,
agendas come out.
we're in a lot of non-public because of these reasons, it makes what we're doing not non-transparent. It makes them understand the process more.
a canned answer could be, we're at a very sensitive time period in our committee sessions because of the work at hand.
Yeah.
And just be patient with us. As soon as we have public information, we will release it. Are you interested in
That's fine.
doing that?
Yeah,
I would say don't hesitate to reach out to anyone.
That's what I mean, I think
Yeah.
conversing with us, because every one of us here can come up with a little different idea, and then if you're the one gonna be doing it, then you word it in that way, but I think it's important, like we say, we don't get into, no, we're not, that's this, this is that, just say, we're looking, like I say, like a lot of the questions come out, we're looking at a lot of different properties, we're looking at a number of properties, and when we can talk publicly, once we figure out where we're going, at that point in time, then we can get into specifics, why we chose this and why we didn't, because I think people are gonna wanna know those answers.
Right. I guess just to answer the big question was, I would rather see one person to answer. If you're willing to do that, we don't have to take a vote on that or anything, do we?
No.
Is there anyone,
consensus.
yeah?
Yeah.
Right? Ken looks like he's just dying to, you wanna be the manager? Not so much? So, if you could do that, Eric, would be
Sure.
great. Is there anything else to come before the meeting, tonight?
So, let me just confirm this, that Eric will kind of monitor Facebook.
Yep.
And if there's questions on it, you're gonna respond to the questions.
correct.
If in fact you have questions on how to respond to the questions, you're gonna reach out to us.
Correct.
Because I think the last thing we want to do with any of it is discourage them to not ask questions, and I think it's important, like you say, we give an answer, even if it's generic answer. At least they know we're paying attention to the page. I think it's important to keep it active somehow. Because right now, we're not informed of a lot of things.
A general statement, tonight or tomorrow, whatever, could simply be, a lot of you are probably wondering why we haven't been posting information. There's no public information to post at this time. Thank you for your patience.
Well, we gave a nice update
That
at
feedback.
town meeting.
Yeah, but in this police building committee, when they asked about the police station and whatever, there was a very good answer by Chuck. It was generic enough and very at the top, and say, this is why we're looking at the different properties, this is what we're gonna bring to you, and this is how it's gonna be done. So, he said, thank you, and the person that brought it, part of the reason is this page was created, and the people that were invited to like this page is to get ideas and feedback ideas. 2 ideas. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to seeing people at our future meetings. I mean, that's the kind of answering that you want to have back and forth. I mean, that hits it right there.
Yep.
Because you're gonna get negative comments and positive comments. I was responding to a comment that he was kind of like, he's somebody I know, he's not from our town, he's not a taxpayer, but sometimes those people's views, and I think somebody had made a comment, that's the type of people we want, because they're not necessarily looking at it just as a taxpayer, just that they're looking at the interest. Maybe they have ideas, one of the things, reached out to other people who have built other police stations,
Right.
to get those insights, and that's, I think in any committee, it's you doing your due diligence by checking these 100 different locations that are possible available. That's making us more sustainable as far as what we're trying to do.
The only other comment I'd say is make sure you respond as the Tilton committee, not as Chuck Drew.
I will
Yeah,
now.
no, just to.
Well, I won't now, but I
Yeah.
wasn't,
Yeah,
because I couldn't.
oh, okay, you
At
should,
the time.
you should.
I can now,
Yeah,
because because at the time I wasn't an admin, so
Yeah.
I had to respond. But
We
you're
should have an
absolutely
alternate to Eric in case Eric's not around and something comes up and.
Or if Eric's on business and.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
Can Chuck, you wanna do that?
right. Yeah, he made me an admin because I couldn't.
Then it's even better.
Chuck, Kevin, myself, and Tim are the admins on the Facebook page. So,
And again, if you want people
So
that you
it
know,
would
or
be
maybe-
alternate.
maybe you have people that you feel have knowledge in this, or can add some insight sometimes. I mean, I invited a fair amount of people because of their background and maybe ideas that they come up with, and sometimes it's the person that we don't even really know that has, well, they just built one in our town, or, so it gives us a connection to maybe reach out personally, not through, like a group of us, but if you have a connection there, maybe they can give us some insight for, building their police station that in their city or town.
there's 116 people that like it and 120 people that follow it, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think once we get up and running, it'll help make a difference.
So like you say, having at least a comment now, if he puts a generic, at least it's not a dead page, because that's the worst thing for
Oh, you gotta keep it active
Well,
otherwise.
and we are having discussions, public information right now. All right, with that being said, is there anything else to come before the meeting, before we adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn?
Yep. Chuck, motion to adjourn, it's 6:50.
Second.
Eric seconds, all those in favor?
All right.
Hey, Brian.
Opposed? All right.
See, on the 23rd, maybe